with people discussing the movie so many years later, it's kind of built a reputation. It didn't just necessarily come out and have this huge, like, oh my god, this is great reception from everyone.
Yeah, and like that kind of happened with the Daredevil director's cut
Yep.
on DVD. Like a lot of people rag on Daredevil, and it still has a ton of problems no matter what way you come at it. But the director's cut of that film is a significantly better movie, and was a step or two ahead of a lot of other superhero fare that we've gotten since. Like, that movie saw what should have been done in the studio, kind of stepped on it a little bit and made it be more like the typical stuff that was out at the time. If that sentence makes any sense. No, like, the studio got involved with Daredevil, and that's why we have the theatrical cut, which has, just way more problems. But when you look at what was done with the director's cut, there's still a lot of problems with the film, but a lot of that movie was ahead of its time. The Daredevil director's cut is something I could have seen coming out in, maybe 2008, 2009, as opposed to 2003. So that was like 5 years ahead of its time.
Especially because back then, when we were first getting superhero movies on a regular basis, it was as if you kind of just looked to comics for like iconography and famous stories, and then you kind of pulled from a bunch of different things and made like a amalgamation of like famous storylines, and then put those together and kind of
X-Men 3.
What?
That's exactly what X-Men 3 is.
X-Men 3 is a good example. And then nowadays you have where they kind of just straight up go, let's do a Days of Future Past movie. And it's not going to be like, it's not the comic, but it's the same gist, the same story. And they're like, let's just kind of retell the story completely different, as if we just had the textbook outline for what it's kind of about.
Yeah, it's based off of one singular thing, as opposed to trying to pull from a bunch of different, like you said, it's a single project as opposed to trying to make some kind of weird medley, basically. I don't know. It's interesting to see how far ahead of its time that film was, problematic as it still is.